တရားတော်ထဲစကားနဲ့ပြောရင်တော့ဒုက္ခကိုအခြေခံပြီးတော့ပျော်ရွှင်မှုကိုတည်ဆောက်ထားလို့ပြောဒီဆရာကြီးရဲ့သူinterview လုပ်ထားတဲ့ဟာဒီခုဘုံပြောပြအောင်ဒီထဲမှာ
That means it's time for Beg Knows America. See what we did there? We find the heart in every single story. For this week's story, contributor David Begnaud was in our studio to bring us a lesson on the science of happiness.
Today we're learning how to live happier, and what you are about to hear is backed up by research. Our guest is Professor of Happiness, Arthur Brooks. Arthur is a best-selling author and columnist who studies the science of happiness at Harvard University. His work has inspired the likes of Oprah, Matthew McConaughey, Presidents Barack Obama and George W. Bush, and people all over the country, like David Cornbrooks from Arlington, Virginia. He says Arthur's writing helped him find meaning in the face of a heartbreaking diagnosis.
A little over 2 years ago, after sort of a dull pain in my rib, sharp pain in my chest, went to the doctor, found out that I was stage 4 lung cancer. I didn't know that you could get lung cancer without having smoked before. I don't think I dealt with that initial shock right away. And, you know, I kind of went back to my regular life, probably a little bit of denial. Same thing happened. My dad passed away when I was a senior in high school. Same kind of avoidance or denial of what was a pretty intense time as an 18-year-old, and then now a pretty intense time as a 40-year-old with, you know, 2 young kids. Arthur Brooks came around at a time when I was ready and open to really feel what he was saying. The piece that really resonated was in The Atlantic, and it was called The Red Pill of Humility, and that's sort of the full acceptance of the truth about yourself. I was trying to hide these things that may not look perfect, and kind of lean into vulnerability afterwards. I think before the diagnosis, I cried maybe a handful of times in my whole life. I think that's part of the expansion of the emotional band. I've cried probably a dozen or more times alone with my wife, around my kids. I think I live a deeper, more rich lifestyle now.
Arthur Brooks, welcome to Times Square.
Thank you, David.
Hearing that, how does that make you feel?
My heart goes out, but that's why I do my work. The truth of the matter is that everybody has suffering in their life. And what we can look forward to, if we're lucky, is to find meaning in that suffering and to share our lives with other people in a way that that meaning can come to them as well. That's exactly what he's doing. He's actually turned this terrible diagnosis in his life from one of terror and one of pain and one of sadness into one of inspiration, one of teaching for other people, one of sharing. And that's one of the great secrets in life.
He talks about the red pill of humility.
Yeah.
An article you wrote for The Atlantic. What is the red pill of humility?
The red pill of humility is that we don't want to be humble. We want to hold ourselves up as strong. We want to look to other people as if we don't have terrible things happening in our lives. Here's the paradox, David. Mother Nature really doesn't care if we're happy. Mother Nature wants us to survive and pass on our genes. And so she imprints these behaviors in us that are not optimal, that are not the best, like make yourself look better than other people, focus only on yourself. And when you fight against that, you find that the secret to being fully alive, the secret to becoming a happier person, is sometimes doing the opposite. When you want to hold yourself up as strong, sometimes you need to admit that you're weak. When you feel something that's making you sad, you need to go look for somebody else who's suffering and relieve their sadness, as opposed to focusing on your self-care.
Oh, that speaks to me. I'm telling you, when I am going through a funk, the way to get myself out of it is to look for something I can do in service to someone else.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And one of the things I've done a lot of research on loneliness, for example. When you're feeling lonely, the cure, the immediate cure, it'll switch it off, is to go find somebody who's lonely and relieve their solitude, relieve their isolation.
Amen.
It's amazing. It's the same thing as anything else. If you want more of something, give it away. Mother Nature doesn't tell you that, but that's a cosmic truth.
You've got a formula for happiness?
Yeah.
So tell me this, what plus what will equal happiness?
Yeah, happiness is not a feeling, and this is an important thing to keep in mind. Happiness is a combination of enjoyment of your life, satisfaction with your accomplishments, and a sense of the meaning of your existence. Enjoyment plus satisfaction plus meaning. Work on those and watch well-being rise.
Amen to the meaning. What is the connection between meaning and happiness?
Meaning is a part of happiness. It's one macronutrient. It's one element of happiness. Meaning is really why things happen the way they do, the goals and direction in your life, and why your life matters. And the way to think about this, I have two questions I can ask anybody who's watching us to know whether or not they have a sense of proper meaning in their life.
What are those?
Number one, what's your answer to why am I alive? The way to pass that test is to have an answer. The way to fail is to go,
I don't know.
Second question, for what would you gladly give your life on this day? And if the answer is nothing, that's a problem. A sense of meaning is having an affirmative answer that's written on your heart to those two questions. And if people are watching us, they don't know, that's good news because this tells you what to go in search of. Go in search of the answers to those two questions and a miracle will happen in your life.
You started researching happiness because you wanted to be happier.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what have you learned through your research that's made you happier?
So I'm a behavioral scientist, but I always kind of viewed happiness like astronomy. Like an astronomer doesn't think he's going to change the stars. He's going to study the stars. And that's how I looked at happiness until I was in my 50s when my wife said, it's kind of ironic that you study happiness, but you're not a happy person. I said, yeah. She said, why don't you actually see whether or not you can change your own? That's weird. That's like a surgeon trying to take out his own appendix. Right? It's like, good luck with that. But I set about doing it. So I learned everything that I could, which is my career. I changed my habits, and then I started teaching a class on it at Harvard, and my life started to change. It's really true. David, I'm 60% happier than I was 5 years ago. That's a lot.
There's a science behind it.
There is.
Thanks for telling us more about it.
Thank you, David.
God, I want more, I want more. David joins us now from North Carolina, where he's shooting another story. David, I enjoyed this conversation so much. Number one, I have great respect for Arthur Brooks and the work that he does. Everybody has suffering. The mission is to find meaning, happiness, energy, satisfaction, and meaning. I learned so much just in that short segment. What was your big takeaway from that conversation?
Mine would be, Gail, that happiness is not some kind of fleeting emotion, that it's a tangible thing that we can actively cultivate through enjoyment, satisfaction, and purpose. So if we look at happiness that way, then we can transform it to be something that we can actively work on to build better, happier lives for ourselves.
Yes, we can all do that too. David, thank you so much. That was so good.
Good stuff.
If you have a story for David, you can reach him and his team at deardavid@cbsnews.com. We'll be right back.
တရားဘုံနားလည်တဲ့လောက်ပြောပြလူတယောက်ကို interview လုပ်တယ်အဲ့လူကတခါမှဆေးလိပ်မတောက်ဘူး stage 4 lung cancer ဖြစ် connection ကတော့ဘာတော့ဆိုဒီ professor ရဲ့ article သူကဖတ်ရတယ်ဖတ်ပြီးတော့သူစိတ်ကိုသူပြန်ပြီးတော့ထားနိုင်တယ် ခဏနေတော့ခါမေးတဲ့မေးခွန်းနဲ့ပြောရင်တော့ဒုက္ခရှိတယ်ဆိုတာကိုသူလက်ခံလိုက်တယ်သူချမ်းမဟုတ်ဘူးဒီလောကလုံးမှာဒုက္ခရှိတဲ့ the right of humility အဲ့ဟာရှိတာကိုသူလက်ခံလိုက်တာနဲ့သူပါဖြစ်လာတော့ resilient အဲ့ဒီဒုက္ခကိုသူ resist လုပ်ရင်သူရဲ့ energy တွေသူ waste လုပ်နေတာသူဖြုံးတီးနေတာပေါ့ဒုက္ခနဲ့သူကရန်ဖြစ်နေတာကို fight လုပ်နေတာပြဿနာကိုသူက resist လုပ်နေတာပြဿနာရှိနေဆိုတဲ့ဟာကိုအရင်ဆုံးလက်ခံလိုက်အဲ့လောက်လေးလက်ခံလိုက်တာနဲ့ the right of humility အဲ့ဈေးခါကိုတစ်ခွက်တောက်လိုက်တာနဲ့သူမှအတိတ်ပဲရှာတွေ့သွားတယ် He could find meaning even in suffering ဒါဖြင့်ပြဿနာကိုအတိတ်ပဲရှိအောင်ကြည့်လိုက်ရင်စိတ်တမကြတော့လို့ပြောတာကျမ်းမာရေးပြဿနာတွေလူမှုရေးပြဿနာတွေအများကြီးရှိအဲ့ပြဿနာကိုကြည့်ပြီးတော့ coffee တောက်ရနေညီးနေမလားအဲ့လိုမဟုတ်ဘဲနဲ့အဲ့ဒီပြဿနာတွေကိုအတိတ်ပဲရှိအောင်တွေးမလား